The Kelly Clarkson Show studio was a kaleidoscope of warmth and energy, its colorful set alive with the cheers of an enthusiastic audience as the upbeat themed music faded, ushering in a highly anticipated segment. Reba McEntire, the country music legend with a larger-than-life presence, sauntered onto the stage, her fiery red hair and megawatt smile drawing roars from the crowd. She was there to promote her new album and her NBC sitcom Happy's Place, but the real draw was her reunion with Kelly Clarkson, her former daughter-in-law and longtime friend, known for their heartfelt duets and shared history. Kelly, beaming from her host chair, kicked things off with her signature Texas charm. "Y'all, it's my hero, Reba McEntire. Reba, you're out here singing, acting, and basically running the world. How do you do it all?" The audience clapped, but Reba's grin held a playful edge as she settled into the guest chair. "Kelly, I just keep moving, but I'm guessing you're about to get me in trouble," she teased, her Oklahoma drawl thick with humor. The crowd laughed, but Kelly leaned forward, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Trouble? Nah, Reba, I'm just curious. You're a legend. But with all these new projects, don't you ever feel like you are stretching yourself too thin?" The question was light but pointed, and Reba's eyebrows shot up, her voice teasing yet firm. "Stretching myself, Kelly? I've been multitasking since you were in pigtails." "You trying to say I can't keep up?" the audience gasped, and Kelly laughed, trying to keep things breezy. "Oh, Reba, you know I'm your biggest fan." But Reba wasn't letting it go. "Fan, huh? Sounds like you are questioning my hustle, darling," the crowd murmured, sensing a shift, and Kelly's smile tightened, her voice playful but edged. "Questioning? I'm just saying, you're out here doing sitcoms, albums, and the voice. Yeah, maybe slow down before you burn out." The jab landed, and Reba's eyes narrowed, her tone sharpening. "Burn out, Kelly? I was selling out arenas before you won Idol. Don't come for me with that." The studio crackled with tension, the audience leaning in as the cameras zoomed in on Reba's steely gaze and Kelly's raised eyebrow. Kelly, ever the quick-witted host, grinned. "Whoa, Reba, I'm just keeping it real. You taught me that." But Reba leaned forward, her voice low and pointed. "Real? You're twisting my work into some midlife crisis narrative. I'm still here, and I ain't slowing down for nobody." The crowd cheered, some clapping for Reba's fire, others murmuring at Kelly's jab. The band's keyboardist tried to cue a light riff to ease the mood, but it was clear this wasn't the usual feel-good chat. Kelly, sensing the stakes, tried to pivot. "Let's talk about Happy's Place. Yeah, it's so fun." But Reba cut her off. "No, Kelly, let's talk about why you're poking at my career like it's a game." The audience roared, and Kelly's face flushed, her drawl sharpening. "Poking? Reba, I'm just asking questions, so don't get all fired up." Reba's smile was gone, her voice firm. "Fired up? You're painting me as some overworked has-been. I'm real, and I ain't here for your cheap shots." The producers, watching from the control room, exchanged nervous glances. This was veering off script, and fast. The crowd, feeding off the energy, was on edge, their cheers fueling the fire. This wasn't the usual Kelly Clarkson Show love festa. It was a clash of country titans, and the stage was set for a showdown under the bright studio lights. As the Kelly Clarkson Show returned from a commercial break, the studio was a cauldron of anticipation, the audience buzzing with excitement after the heated opening exchange between Reba McEntire and Kelly Clarkson. The set's vibrant colors felt almost ironic against the simmering tension, as Kelly tried to reset the mood with her trademark warmth. "Welcome back, y'all. Reba McEntire's here, and we're having a real spicy chat." But Reba, seated with her arms crossed, wasn't in the mood for pleasantries, her eyes locked on Kelly. "Spicy's one way to put it, Kelly. You've got a lot to say about my career, so let's hear it," she said, her voice dripping with challenge. The crowd gasped, and Kelly leaned forward, her smile strained but playful. "Reba, I'm just curious. You're doing so much, from The Voice to your sitcom. Don't you ever worry you're spreading yourself too thin? Maybe loosen that Reba magic?" The question was sharp, digging at Reba's legendary status, and her jaw tightened. "Loosen my magic, Kelly? I've been in this game longer than you've been alive." "You're implying I'm past my prime," she fired back, her Oklahoma twang cutting through the applause. The audience erupted, some cheering Reba's fire, others murmuring at Kelly's boldness. Kelly, unfazed, raised an eyebrow. "Past your prime?" "Nah, Reba, I'm just saying you're juggling a load maybe too much for one icon." The jab was playful but stung, and Reba's eyes flashed, her voice rising. "Too much? I built a career on juggling, Kelly." "You're the one turning this into a roast instead of a talk show." The crowd roared, and the band tried to cue a light riff, but the tension was palpable. Kelly, sensing the shift, tried to pivot. "Reba, your fans love everything you do. Let's talk about that new album." But Reba waved her off. "No, Kelly, let's talk about why you're trying to paint me as some overworked relic. You know me better than that." The accusation landed like a punch, and Kelly's grin faltered, her tone sharpening. "Paint you, Reba? I'm just asking questions. It's my job." "You're the one good and all defensive." The audience was in a frenzy, some chanting Reba, while others clapped for Kelly's quick wit. Reba leaned forward, her voice booming. "Defensive? You're calling my whole career into question, Kelly, like I'm some washed-up act. I'm still here, and I ain't your punchline." The crowd gasped, and Kelly's face reddened, her voice trembling with frustration. "Punchline, Reba, I'm your biggest fan, you know that, but you're acting like I'm attacking you." Reba's eyes narrowed, her tone icy. "You are attacking me, Kelly, twisting my work into some narrative about me losing my edge. I expected better from you." The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as the producers signaled frantically for the band to play. The music started, but it couldn't drown out the drama. Kelly, her chest heaving, fired back. "Better from me? Reba, you're the one turning this into a fight." "I'm just doing my show." Reba stood, her hands on her hips. "Your show? You're using it to take cheap shots at me, and I'm not here for it." The crowd roared, and Kelly stood too, her voice booming. "Cheap shots? Reba, I'm keeping it real. You taught me that if you can't handle a tough question, maybe this ain't the place for you." The audience gasped, and the cameras stayed locked on the two, capturing every moment of the escalating feud. Reba's face contorted with fury. "Tough question? You're just throwing shade to look clever, Kelly." "I'm done." The producers, now in full panic, signaled for security, but the stage was a powder keg, and the fuse was burning fast. The Kelly Clarkson Show studio was a tinderbox, the air crackling with the heat of the escalating clash between Reba McEntire and Kelly Clarkson, two country music icons locked in a verbal brawl that had the audience on the edge of their seats. Reba, now standing, loomed over the set, her red hair catching the light as she pointed at Kelly. "You think you're slick, Kelly, questioning my career like I'm some faded star. But I'm not your punching bag." The crowd roared, split between those who loved Reba's fire and those who admired Kelly's boldness. Kelly, standing too, matched her intensity, her voice booming. "Punching bag? Reba, I'm just asking what everyone's thinking of. You're doing so much, maybe it's diluting your legacy." The jab was brutal, and Reba's eyes blazed, her voice sharp. "Diluting my legacy, Kelly? I've got Grammys older than you. You're out here acting like I'm losing it, and I won't stand for it." The audience gasped, and the band's keyboardist tried to play a light riff, but the noise was drowned out by the crowd's cheers. Kelly, her face flushed, fired back. "Losing it? Reba, I am your biggest fan, but you're talking this way too personal." "I'm just doing my job." Reba leaned forward, her tone icy. Your job is to make me look like a has-been for laughs." "You know me, Kelly, why you gotta twist my story?" The crowd was in a frenzy, some chanting Reba, while others shouted Kelly. As the tension skyrocketed, the producers, now frantic, signaled for a commercial break, but the cameras stayed rolling, capturing every moment. Kelly, her hands on her hips, snapped, "Twist your story? Reba, I'm celebrating you, but you're acting like I'm attacking your whole career." Reba's voice rose to a shout. "Celebrating? You're implying I'm spread too thin, like I'm some desperate act clinging to fame. That's disrespectful, Kelly." The audience gasped, and Kelly's eyes widened, her voice trembling with fury. "Disrespectful? Reba, you're the one turning this into a fight over nothing. I'm just asking questions." Reba's face darkened, her drawl cutting like a knife. "Nothin', you're questioning my whole life's work, Kelly. I thought you knew better, but maybe I was wrong." The insult was a direct hit, and Kelly's chest heaved, her voice booming. "Wrong? Reba, you're the one making this personal, acting like I'm betraying you. I'm just doing my show." The crowd was on its feet, the noise deafening, as Reba took a step closer, her eyes locked on Kelly's. "Your show? You're using it to tear me down, and I ain't here for it. You want to fight? You got one. But I'm not playing your game." The audience held its breath, sensing the climax, as Kelly fired back. "Tear you down? Reba, I'm lifting you up, but you're too stubborn to see it." Reba's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "Stubborn? I'm done with your shade, Kelly. You don't get to talk to me like that." The crowd gasped, and Kelly, her patience gone, shouted, "Shade? This is my show. Reba, if you can't handle a real conversation, there's the door." Reba's eyes flashed with fury, her voice a low growl. "Real conversation? You're just playing to the crowd, and I'm not your prop." She slammed her hand on the table, the sound echoing through the studio, and turned toward the wings, her boots clicking against the floor. The audience roared, some cheering her exit, others booing Kelly's audacity, as security moved in, unsure whether to follow. The cameras stayed locked on Reba, capturing the moment that would dominate headlines. The producers, in full panic mode, signaled for the band to play, but the music couldn't drown out the chaos of the showdown. As Reba McEntire's silhouette vanished into the wings of the Kelly Clarkson Show set, the studio was a maelstrom of chaos, the audience's cheers and boos blending into a deafening roar that echoed through the vibrant space. Kelly Clarkson stood behind her host chair, her face a mix of shock and defiance, as the band played a frantic riff to cover the awkward silence. "Well, y'all, that's what happens when you get two country girls in a room," she quipped, trying to regain control, but her voice betrayed a hint of unease. The crowd laughed, but the tension lingered, some chanting Reba in solidarity, others applauding Kelly's boldness. Backstage, the producers were in a frenzy, their headsets crackling with urgent orders as they debated whether to cut to a pre-taped segment or let Kelly ride out the storm. The cameras, still rolling, caught Kelly adjusting her sweater, her grin returning as she addressed the audience. "All right, y'all, Reba's a legend, and legends have big feelings, let's give her some love." The crowd complied, but it was half-hearted, the room still reeling from the drama. Social media was already ablaze, with clips of the confrontation going viral, fans and critics dissecting every word, every gesture. Some praised Reba for standing up to Kelly's perceived jabs, calling her walk-off a queen move, while others accused her of overreacting, unable to handle the heat of Kelly's questions. The narrative was spiraling, just as Reba had warned, her words about being twisted into a story proving prophetic. Kelly, sensing the moment slipping, tried to pivot. "Let's talk about Reba's new album, it's incredible, y'all." But the audience wasn't ready to move on, their energy still tied to the clash. Backstage, Reba was whisked away by her team, the paparazzi already swarming the studio exits, hungry for a soundbite. The producers, now in damage control mode, cued a pre-taped interview clip, but the crowd wasn't buying it. They wanted more of the raw, unfiltered chaos they'd just witnessed. Kelly, ever the professional, powered through, cracking jokes about her Texas roots and teasing the next segment, but her usual charm felt strained. The internet was merciless, with hashtags like #Reba vs. Kelly and #Clarkson Showdown trending within minutes, alongside memes of Reba's table slam and Kelly's stunned expression. The confrontation had tapped into a larger cultural nerve: a legend versus successor, authenticity versus showmanship, friendship versus rivalry. For Reba, it was a stand against being reduced to a caricature, a moment of defiance that would fuel her narrative of resilience. For Kelly, it was another day in the talk show trenches, where her heart-on-sleeve style sometimes pushed guests to the edge. As the show wrapped, Kelly signed off with a wry smile. "Thanks for watching, y'all. Come back tomorrow or maybe we'll keep everyone on stage." The crowd laughed, but the moment belonged to Reba's walk-off, a legendary exit that would dominate headlines for weeks.